This is the Z Flip 5, and I've been using it for nearly a month now. I popped in my visible SIM card as soon as I got it, and I've been using it ever since. Who the heck am I? I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and let's be friends. There's a lot to like about the Z Flip 5, and the one thing that's holding it back has a solution for it. As far as pricing, it's $1,000 for 256 gigabytes or $1,120 for the 512 version. It comes in many different colors, and depending on where you buy it from, that is what colors you can get. So Samsung.com and carriers have different styles. Now, I do think foldable phones are the future. The convenience of having a smaller footprint is something you can't undersell. Now, having just a tiny square in your pocket is better than having a large slab imprinting in your pants. Is that a Z Fold in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? And then I ended up switching to the Z Fold a bit as I work on my review, and I instantly miss the Z Flip as far as the size day to day. On the right-hand side of the phone, you have volume rockers and you have a power button, which doubles as a fingerprint scanner. Now, big question people asked about the Z Flip is the durability, and the Z Flip 4 was very durable for me. I've dropped it several times, I've flung it open, I've used the phone, and the 5 is even stronger on paper, according to Samsung. And also the new Hinge design is really nice. It allows you to close the phone flat, completely flat, and just the overall construction of this phone is done very well. It's just a nice square. I think the biggest change for this phone is the front display. It's now much bigger, allowing more than just a few widgets on a tiny screen. You can access notifications or even reply to messages that may come in. Now, out of the box, the phone does not support many apps on the main screen, and under settings and labs, you can access a few more apps that Samsung has approved, but that list is very limited. If you want to take it a step further, you can download another app that allows you to add any app to the front display. I'll link a video from the homie Jonathan Casey on how to do it, because that single tip alone changes everything about this phone. I think what's key on this phone is the front display, which keeps me in the moment easier. If I get a text or email, I can easily see it from here and decide if I want to respond or not. I know other phones allow you to do this with the notification panel, but this is just enough information where I can look a little bit further without having to go into my phone every single time to access it. Now, speaking on the theme of not needing to open the phone, you double click the power button and that takes you right into the camera. If you press on the volume button, it takes a picture, or if you pinch, this adjusts the zoom levels of the image as well. You can also swipe between picture, portrait, and video. Now, later in the video, we're gonna talk about image quality, but I would say the convenience factor is what's more important for a phone like this. So we've talked a lot about the cover display, and honestly, that is where I spend a lot of my time with this phone. But once you open it up, it is a normal phone. Now, don't think the internal display won't be great because it's a foldable. It's large, it's bright, and the colors look great. It's a typical Samsung display, so you know what to expect. Now, to be honest, this phone has changed my habits on how I use the phone. So I use this phone in flex mode a lot while it's sitting on a table. Whether it's listening to music or having on a YouTube video that I'm not really watching, I just always find an excuse to have this phone sort of propped up instead of in my hands. Now, the apps that flex makes this phone a whole lot better, but it's awkward when those other apps don't have a flex mode. What I mean by that is when you open the phone in this tabletop mode, the actual app responds to that. Now, it's not the end of the world, but it does make the phone a little bit harder to use in that mode. Now, you can force some apps over, but that's not the same experience as if it's native. Now, performance-wise, don't expect any drop-off compared to other flagship phones. Now, this phone can game. It can video edit, it can handle day-to-day tasks, anything you throw at it as expected. The speaker is really good too, which helps since I use the flex mode so often. So moving right along to camera, this is where a folding phone gets fun. You can set the phone on many surfaces and use it as a little tripod, but when taking photos of other people, allowing them to see themselves is a nice addition. Now, this feature alone is one that can be a selling point for many people. Now, beyond that, the camera isn't much of an upgrade from the 4. It does put it a notch above mid-level, so portrait shots do look natural, and the skin lightening, what we've seen in the past, is minimal, and overall, I do like these images. Pictures outside of everyday objects come out really great. They're punchy, they have a lot of life to them, and I like those as well. Where the camera can struggle a bit is low light, but the excellent night mode can help this out as well. Video mode also is a few steps behind from what I like to see, and if this is being touted as a creator's phone, this phone needs to get better. Now, Samsung definitely has the capabilities of doing this, as the S23 Ultra video mode was absolutely amazing. But how good is this phone if you can't use it all day? Since I'm using the outside display a lot more, battery life has been exceptional for me. Now, by the time I go to bed on some nights, I'm at 30 or even 40%, but I have not had one of those super long travel days yet. If battery does get low, it does charge at 25 watts, so 50% in roughly 30 minutes. Not the fastest charging around, but for me, it's good enough to kind of juice it back up. Overall, I think this is the best foldable phone for most people.